सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। ओम सदाशिवसमारम्भां शंकराचार्य मध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। हरि ओम। Welcome to this 46th week of Vision of Vedanta, which we do every Sunday. It's happening today because there were some technical difficulties last Sunday. So we are looking into this Panchadashi. We saw the 5th chapter, we saw the 10th chapter, and now we are going to the 15th chapter of Panchadashi. It is called Brahmananande Vishayanandah. Brahma Ananda means that bliss of Brahman. In that name Brahman, in that thought of Brahman, what is the content of that thought? That content is joy, because Brahman is that which encompasses everything in this universe. And when we think of everything, the content is only joy. Brahma Anande. Brahma Ananda means joy, bliss. Vishaya Anandaha. Vishaya means object. Object of seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, touching, thinking, feeling, emoting, doing. All these things are objects. The work, our names, the forms that we see, the qualities that we experience, everything is an object. This object, Vishaya, has some joy. For example, if I like to taste an ice cream, there is joy in that ice cream. I experience joy by eating the ice cream. But here what this chapter comes to say is, the joy is exactly not in the ice cream, but the joy is the experience of Ananda that is there. The ice cream, the taste of the ice cream has the capacity to trigger the joy in me, trigger that Ananda in me, trigger that experience of joy in me. So that is what we are going to see in this chapter of about 30 plus verses, 33, 34 verses. It's a very beautiful chapter. The Puja Guruji Swami Tejomayananda ji has written a commentary on this for 5th, 10th and 5th, 10th and 15th chapters of Panchadashi, in which he says, bliss of Brahman is not like the joy of objects. Brahma Ananda is not the joy that we get because of some object. Bliss is Brahman. Joy is Brahman. Brahman is infinite. The bliss of Brahman is also infinite. But we don't know that. So we superimpose joy on objects, and thereafter we become dependent on the objects, and then we are bound to them. It can be, the object can be anything, from food to clothes to latest fashions to alcohol to drugs. So many different types of objects we enjoy and experience. But when we don't realize that the joy is within, the object is only a reminder to experience a joy within, then we are bound by that object. In the Bhaja Govindam, there's a very beautiful verse. Yogarato va bhogarato va sangarato va sangavihina yasya brahmani ramate chitam Nandati, Nandati, Nandatyeva. Whether a person is established in yoga, yoga means experiencing the unity of the thought and the feeling, or bhogaratova, experiencing the joy from an object outside. Bhoga means experiences coming from outside. Sangarataha, whether I am attached to thoughts or attached to people, being in a group of people. Sanga vihinaha, whether I am alone and I am staying by myself. Yasya Brahmani Ramate Chittam. Yasya Brahmani means for whom in that Brahman, in that supreme reality, Chittam Ramate. The mind is sporting like fish in water. The fish are swimming in water. The fish is the Chittam, the thoughts, and the mind is the water. And that mind is in the Brahman. Yasya Brahmani Ramate Chittam, for that person, Nandati, Nandati, Nandati Eva. There is only joy, joy, and joy. To compare this water fish analogy, when we are in bhoga, we experience joy like the fish is waiting for the fish is waiting for the worm in the hook. So the fish is gaining joy by taking that worm. That is bhoga, but that joy is binding the fish to the hook, which is not very desired. We lose our life. But yoga is the fish is just blissfully swimming in water and it is experiencing the joy of the water which is all around. The water is touching the fish and that water triggers the joy within the fish, the experience of bliss and happiness. That is yoga. In the same way, the fish is our thoughts and the water is our mind. So if we are not dependent on any objects, any emotions, any thoughts for our bliss, we are in yoga. We are only united to our feelings and experiences within, which are always present. And any experience that we have, we are united with it, we are one with it, we are in yoga. Whether we are in yoga or whether we are in bhoga, the one who experiences joy in that Brahman, Ramate, Nandati, Nandati, Nandati eva. He is always blissful and joyful. So we are only, why this Panchadashi, this chapter? We are all aware of sense pleasures. We are all aware of gaining joy from objects of the world outside. So that is what we know. So from what we know, this author, Sri Vidyaranya, is guiding us to that bliss of Brahman, which we don't know and hence we don't seek. The teacher leads us from where we are to the state of absolute bliss. Also, all joy is included in the bliss of Brahman. Hence, the discussion is only indicating the supreme reality. Athatra Vishayanando Brahmanandamsha Rupa Bhak Nirupyate Dwara Bhutaha Tadam Shatvam Shrutir Jagau. The Shrutis, they say Jagau, Atha, Atra, Vishayanandah. Atha means thereafter, in this chapter, Vishayanandah, the joy that I derive from my association with Vishaya or objects. Vishaya means objects of seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling and touching. Vishaya Anandaha, Brahma Ananda Rupa Bhaka. It is actually a part of Brahmananda only. Vishayananda is not something separate. It is part of that Brahmananda. There is the ocean, which is Brahmananda, Vishaya Ananda is a wave. The wave can never have an existence apart from the ocean. The wave can never be away from the ocean. Vishaya Anandaha Nirupyate. It is established here. Dwara Bhutaha. Dwara Bhutaha means it is a gateway. This Vishaya Ananda is a gateway for us to experience Brahmananda. So when I experience joy from anything that I see, when I experience joy from anything that I hear, when I experience joy from anything that I smell, when I experience joy from anything that I touch or I taste or I think or I feel, I should realize that the joy experienced is Brahman. The joy is nothing other than Brahman. It is not the object that is joyful, but it is the experience of joy that is Brahman. Nirupyate dwara bhutaha tadamshatvam. It is one part of the bliss of Brahman and it is a gateway to that Brahman. When I suppose I'm eating a very tasty cake, a spongy eggless chocolate cake, and I just put that cake in my mouth and I'm tasting and I feel so blissful. The whole meditation is that meditate on that bliss. Forget the cake, forget the eating, forget everything else. The joy is experienced. Meditate on that joy. So that's Brahmananda. It is not the cake, but it is the Brahman. The meditation can happen on the occasion of taking the cake, not necessarily because of the cake. Eshosya paramanando yokhandaika rasatmakaham anyani bhutan tasya matramevopa bhunjate. Eshaha asya parama anandaha. This, Esha means this bliss that I experience, parama anandaha, supreme joy, yaha akhanda eka rasa atmakaha. The supreme joy is akhanda. It is partless. It is eka. It is one. It is rasa atmakaha. It is in the form of that bliss. It is rasa means it is a very tasty experience. It is a juicy experience. That juiciness, that the juicy experience that we have is the self of this bliss. What is the self of bliss? That joy, that juiciness of the whole thing. What is the self of the rasagulla? The juicy content of the rasagulla is itself. In the same way, what is the self of bliss? That juicy joy we experience is that self. Anyani bhutani etasya matrameva upabhunjate. Anyani bhutani. The other beings, all beings in this world, they experience only a little bit matra. What to say? It is just a fraction of that Brahman is only experiences joy in our life. When do we experience joy? When we are in deep sleep, we are experiencing joy throughout the time of deep sleep. And when we are dreaming, when we see good dreams, when we see happy dreams, we experience joy. In the waking state, when we have good experiences through our senses, through our thoughts and emotions, we experience joy. In meditation, we experience joy. When we don't do anything else, the mind is not distracted. The mind is absorbed in meditation. What are we doing? We are experiencing joy. So in this world, we are experiencing only a fraction of the joy of that Brahman. The joy that we experience in this world can be compared to, you have a nice chocolate. The chocolate is covered by a paper wrapper. You remove the paper wrapper. Sometimes when the chocolate is melted, it will start spilling out of the golden or silver wrapper. Now, the bliss of this world that we experience because of objects is like trying to eat the chocolate with the wrapper. The chocolate from the wrapper is joyful, but we are getting that sense of that taste of the wrapper which is not pleasant, which is disturbing us, which is causing restlessness. So this Vishaya Ananda is experiencing the bliss of Brahman with a wrapper, tasting it. Brahmananda is remove the wrapper, only joy. Remove the covering of the fruit, only the juice of the fruit I am taking. That is Brahmananda. What are the different moods of the mind? The verse number 3. Shanta ghorastatha mudha manaso vrittayastridha vairagyam kshantiraudaryam ityadyaha shantavrittayaha. Shanta. The mind has got 3 moods. One mood is Shanta. The mind is very calm. It is agitation less. It is waveless. Then Ghora. The mind takes up some particular forms and it engages in action. Ghora. Tatha, in that same way, the mind is Mudha. Dull. Nothing. It has got zero energy. It is somewhat lifeless. It is very tired. It does not know anything. It cannot understand anything. It does not want to do any work. It does not want to engage in anything. It does not want to talk nicely to people. It just engages in basic reactions, known reactions. That's mudha. Manasaha, vrittayaha, tridha. The vrittis of the mind or the thought, the feeling modifications. Vritti also means modifications, which is mentioned in the Yoga Sutras. But here we are talking about the modifications in our feelings. There are 3 types. Shanta, Ghora, Mudha, Vrittayaha, Tridha. Vairagyam, Shantihi, Audaryam, Ityadyaha, Shanta Vrittayaha. So in the Shanta Vritti, also you have certain differences. Shanta means calm. In that Shanta Vritti, you have 3 differences of Vairagyam. Vairagyam means detachment. Shanti means patience. Audaryam is magnanimity of expression. Ityadyaha, etc., etc. They are all Shanta Vritti. They are all the Vrittis that give us a lot of peace. Then you have verse number 4. Trishna sneho raga lobho ityadya ghora vrittayaha sammoho bhayamityadyaha kathita mudha vrittayaha. Trishna. Trishna means desire, extreme attachment, wanting something, thirsting for something. Snehaha, attachment, being hooked onto something or some person or some object, being attached. Sneha means loving objects, objects of perception. That's sneha. Raga, lobha. Raga means attachment, lobha means greed. Ityadya, etc. are ghora vritti. Vritti means modifications of mind, movement of mind. These are all ghora. Ghora means terrible, which means rajasic, basically. Some mohaha, total confusion. Bhayam, fear. Ityadyaha, kathita, it is said, etc. Mudha vrittaya. Mudha means dull. Fear, delusion, lack of energy, enthusiasm, all this is mudha vritti. The 5th verse, vrittishvetasu Sarvasu Brahmanas Chit Swabhavatam Pratibimbati Shantasu Sukham Cha Pratibimbati Vrittihi Vrittishu Etasu Vrittishu. All these modifications and movements, Sarvasu, all modifications, Brahmanaha Chit Swabhavata. It's of the reality, Chit Swabhava. It is the consciousness aspect. These movements or modifications of mind are the consciousness aspect of that Chit, of that Brahman. Pratibhimbati Shantasu. That consciousness aspect in Shantasu Pratibimbati. That Brahman, the joy of Brahman is reflected in Sattva Guna, Shantasu. Shanti, Audaryam, Kshama, all these good qualities that Brahman is reflected. Shantasu. Sukham cha Pratibimbati. The joy of Brahman, the bliss of Brahman is also reflected. There is a beautiful Tirukural which says, இனிய உளவாத இன்னாத கூறல் கனி இருப்ப காய் கவர்ந்தற்று. Kani iruppa. When there is a fruit, would anybody take when there is a ripe fruit, would anybody take an unripe fruit to eat? In the same way, iniya ulavada, very sweet words are there. Innada, the words that don't give any trouble for others, that don't hurt others. When those words are there, when we want to take harsh words, it is like instead of when there are fruits, ripe fruits, will anybody take an unripe fruit to eat? So, in that way, sweet words give joy. Harsh words will give us the experience of sorrow and pain. So, this Pratibimbati Shantasu. Brahman is completely reflected in the Shanta Vritti. And not only that, the Shanta Vritti also gives us joy, the experience of joy. In the Ghora Vritti and the Ajnana Vritti of, that is the Rajas and Tamas, the experience of joy is not there. Rupam Rupam Babhuvasau Pratirupa iti Shrutihi Upama Surya Ketyadi Sutrayamasa Sutrakratam Rupam Rupam Babhuva Asau Pratirupa iti Shrutihi. The Vedas say, whatever form appears before the Brahman appears to take that form. Shrutihi. The Vedas says, Upama Suryaka Ityadi. Example for this is sun and the others. When I am looking at the sun, the consciousness that is expressing through me, which is that Brahman, takes the form of the sun. When I look at the moon, the consciousness that expresses through me, which is the Brahman, takes the form of moon. Rupam Rupam Babhuva Asau Pratirupa iti Shrutihi. When I look at this table, the consciousness takes the form of this table. When I look at the laptop, the consciousness takes the form of the whole laptop. Upama Suryaka Ityadi. The examples are sun and the moon. Sutrayamasa Sutrakrita. The one Bhagavan Vedavyasa, who has written the sutras, has explained this. Eka eva hi bhutatma bhute bhute vyavasthitaha ekadha bahudha chaiva drishyate jalachandravat. Eka eva hi bhutatma. This bhuta, the self of all creation, is only one. Bhute bhute vyavasthitaha. In every being, it looks very different. In every object, in every being, it takes up that particular form. Ekadha bahudha chaiva drishyate. Jala Chandravat. It is looking as one. One means in me, it looks as one. In everything else, it looks as many. That consciousness in me, I say I, that one. That consciousness in every other object, situation, and person, it appears as many. Drishyate Jala Chandravat. That consciousness is one, but in every water body, it is looking like as if that water body has got the moon. The water body has got a separate sun inside. It looks like that. But it is just that one sun which is reflected in so many water bodies. Jale pravishta chandroyam aspashta kalushe jale vispashto nirmale tadvat dvedha brahmapi krit vrittishu. In the vrittis, in the different modifications, jale pravishtaha chandraha, like this moon that has entered into water, the rays of the moon, aspashtaha, in faint, in faint, it is very faint, kalusham, kalushe jale, in the water that is very dirty and muddy, the reflection of the moon is aspashta. It's not very clear. Vispashtaha, it is clear in nirmale jale, in pure water, it is clear. Tadvat, in that same way, dvedha, it is twofold. Dvidha, actually it is written here as dvedha. Dvidha, twofold. Brahmapi, even the Brahman is twofold. It's in vrittishu, in the vrittis, in the shanta vritti, in the calm thoughts, in the calm emotional expressions. Brahman is in two ways it manifests. In the calm mind, it manifests as one way. In the mind that is expressing rajas and tamas, it is manifesting differently. Just as a muddy surface reflects the moon in a faint manner, whereas clear water reflects the moon clearly. How does the reflection of reality happen in an impure mind? Ghoramudhasu malinyat sukhamshascha tirohitaha ishannairmalyatastatra chidamsha pratibimbanam ghora mudhasu. Ghora means in that rajasic mind and in the tamasic mind, malinyat, that is impure. Rajas and tamas have got the impurities. Rajas has got the impurity of agitation and movement. Tamas has got the impurity of dullness and mala, all the impurities. Malinyat, because of the impurities, sukha amshascha tirohitaha, the joy aspect of Brahman is hidden in the Rajasic and the Tamasic minds, whereas Ishan Nairmalyatas Tatra, in the Sattvic mind, Chidamshaha Pratibimbanam, in the Sattvic mind, the consciousness aspect of Brahman is very well revealed, very clearly revealed. The 9th verse, Yadvapi nirmale nire vakner aushasya sankramaha na prakashasya tadvat syat chinmatrot bhutirevacha. Yadvapi nirmale nire vaknehe aushnasya sankramaha. In pure water, if the pure water is heated, Vahnehe, you can experience the heat of the fire. You cannot experience the light of the fire. This is an example to show that Brahman, both aspects of Brahman, of Chit and Ananda are manifest in Shanta vritti, in the calm expression of the mind. The chit aspect means the knowledge aspect is manifested, and the same time joy aspect also is manifested. Shanta vritti, it is manifested, whereas in mudha and ghora, the rajas and tamas modifications of mind, only the chit aspect is manifested, the joy aspect is not manifested. So, to give that example, when we heat pure water, the water manifests only the heat of the fire. It does not manifest the light of that fire. Chinmatra. So, in the same way, in Rajas and Tamas, only the Chit means consciousness, awareness. I know the person is angry. That anger is not giving any joy to me. We only know that the person is angry. We only know that the person is sad. In the case of tamas, we know the person is angry. That sadness or the anger is not giving any joy. Like how the fire is not reflecting in the water as heat, as light, but only as heat. Though heat and light are properties of fire. But when we heat wood, what happens? Kashte tvaushnasya prakashau dvau udbhavam gacchato yatham shantasu sukha chaitanye tathaivot bhutimapnutaham. When I put a log of wood in fire, the log of wood does not just manifest the heat, it also manifests that fire in the form of light. In the same way, Shantasu Sukha Chaitanya. In that calm state of mind, the Sukha, the bliss aspect of Brahman, and the knowledge aspect of Brahman, both are manifested. Tathaiva Udbhutim Apnutaha. Tathaiva, in that same way, Udbhutim, it is manifest completely. What is manifest in that calm state of mind? The joy aspect of Brahman as well as the knowledge aspect of Brahman are manifested. So the hint here is to always strive towards keeping the mind in a joyous state. Otherwise, Brahman is manifested in all three states, but we can experience the joy aspect of Brahman only in that calm state of mind, only in the beautiful state of mind, not in the Rajasic and Tamasic states. Vastu svabhavamashritya vyavastha tu bhayo samaha anubhutyanusarena kalpyatehi niyamakam. Vastu svabhavam ashritya vyavastha tu ubhayoho samaha. Depending on the nature of the objects. Objects means here the gunas, the three qualities. Sattva guna is an object, Rajoguna is another object, Tamoguna is the third object. Vyavasthatu ubhayoho sama. Depending on the qualities of the objects, the situations are the same. The situations means here the experiences that we have. Vyavasthatu ubhayoho samaha. With the Brahman, the expression of the Brahman is the same in all vyavasthas, whether it is Sattva Guna, Rajoguna or Tamoguna. But Anubhuti Anusarena, depending on the experience, Kalpyate, it is Niyamakam. The properties are established. The Brahman is manifested in all three qualities, but depending on what we experience, we can identify whether it is a sattvic state or a rajasic state or a tamasic state. The person or thing may have many characteristics and properties. Everybody, whether it's an individual or whether it is an object, they have many characteristics and properties. They may remain totally unmanifest due to lack of conducive circumstances or field of expression. The manifestation means the light. Like for example, light is spreading everywhere. But depending on whether something is, for example, there may be many children on stage. The light of the audience is falling on all the children. But somebody who may act very well, somebody who may express very well with their eyes, somebody who may move very well, somebody who may speak very well, they attract our attention. In the same way, depending on what qualities are expressing, the expression is very different. In such a medium, if such a medium is available, its properties may be partially or totally expressed. The thing remaining the same, its expressions may appear different because of the difference in the medium of expression. The light is the same, but that light, when passing through a prism, it comes out as 7 colors: vibgyor, violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, and red. In the same way, that Brahman is one, but the medium through which it passes, it expresses in different ways. Whether it expresses as Shanta, Shanta means very calm, or whether it expresses as Ghora, means very Rajasic, or Mudha, Tamasic. It is different from individual to individual and object to object. So the Brahman is the same in everything. The light of consciousness is the same in everything. But depending on the nature of the object, if it is a tamasic object like this glass case, tamas means it has got no expression of life in it, then Brahman expresses as Sat only. Sat means this glass case is, this clock is. So this is tamasic. Brahman. There is no joy. There is only knowledge aspect of Brahman. We know this is a clock. We know this is a glass case. We know this is a pen stand without a pen. Knowledge. Then the joy that we experience is not from this object. The joy is because of the importance and attachment. Why we are studying this is to know that joy is not there in the object. When it is rajas or tamas, we don't experience joy. We only experience the knowledge aspect of it. So in our day-to-day lives, how does it translate? Whenever we are going through agitations, whenever we are going through sorrow, we just name it. We know it. We just get to know it, and we don't attach any importance to the feelings that we have of that. Then we will be in sattva guna. We will be experiencing that knowledge aspect of Brahman, and we will not experience the sadness or sorrow or the disturbance. So name it to tame it. It is called cognitive behavioral therapy, where every thought, every emotion is separated. It is brought out separately as the name and the feeling, the name and the thought. It is separated. When you separate it, we focus attention only on the name, and the feeling will die out after some time. Name it to tame it. So this helps us to keep in tune with that Brahman all the time and weave our way through life without getting caught in all the disturbing situations, without having the right understanding of where we can find joy. It is not in the object, it is not in the disturbance, it is not in the agitation, but it is in the Brahman, it is in the self. So we will continue again tomorrow with some more verses from Brahmanande Vishayanandah. Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasorma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. बोलिए श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय. हर नमः पार्वती पतये. हर हर महादेव. Hari Om.